Hello everyone, I'm Steve Garrison. Welcome to my messy workshop. If you've watched my videos in the past, you know what this is. This is a scroll saw shell, and I've been making these for over a decade now. A couple of decades. Go back to the very beginning. I've got something new, and it's a conical spiral shell like this. And the process I use to make these is completely different from the old method to make these with. But it makes these types of shells possible. I got a lot of good reactions when I showed a picture of this, so I think everybody's going to like it. And if you'd like to try to make one, I've got patterns for sale, and the rest of this video is going to be about how to make your own conical spiral shell. And in the future I might add some more styles, for some other types of seashells. So let's get on with the rest of the video. But before we do, please hit the subscribe button right here, and by all means share this video with your friends, and I hope you enjoy watching the rest. Thank you. To make the conical spiral shell, we're going to need to make 26 wedges for this design. And this is the jig that I've got for cutting the wedges from boards. It's designed to cut a wedge that's potentially up to 6 inches wide, but for this one, this is just a little over 3 inches wide. The blank is held onto the jig with dots of hot glue, and they're stuck to this piece of corian. It's got several lines cut through it for a release tool. So I flip the jig over and cut it from this side first. The thought being, when the wedge is cut free from the block, it will fall onto the table. You want the wide edge of each wedge to fall onto the table instead of the thin edge. If the thin edge falls onto the table, it will jam between the saw blade and the throat plate on the table saw. So once that cut is made, we'll flip it over and cut it the rest way from this side. Make a few passes so we're not cutting through the whole thickness all at once. And this one we'll cut it off. The wedge is sticking to the blade, sort of. The blade is moving air, and the center of the blade has a suction on it, actually. So the piece sticks to it until the blade stops. And I've got a tool made out of an old wrench that's slid into these grooves to pop the piece loose. And once it's popped loose, the glue is cleaned off with a little bit of acetone, just a few drops. And that works very well. On the scroll saw, I use a spiral blade, and notice that the wood does not change orientation while it's being cut. The dashed lines, those are to align with the hinge axis of the saw table. And that's pretty straightforward cutting. I never was very good on the scroll saw and following a line, but it's all going to get carved and sanded anyway. Here I'm just cleaning up some joint surfaces to ensure that when these parts get glued together, there's not any gap between. It's essentially just a rub joint. I use rubber bands for clamps. They're a lot easier to put on this odd-shaped wood. A lot easier than bar clamps or spring clamps or what have you. And the more wraps you make, the stronger it holds. Now I've got the whole thing put together, and it's time to shape the exterior. I've got a new favorite carving bit from my rotary tool. It's called a rotary chisel, and it removes wood very, very efficiently. Excuse me. Makes a smooth cut, and it makes shavings instead of dust. And that's a whole lot better for my allergies and sinuses than dust. But I wear a mask anyway. That just knocks down the corners. And most of my sanding is done with strips of sandpaper. The sandpaper that I use comes off of a roll that's self-adhesive. And so I just take a piece of painter's tape and stick it to the adhesive on the back. And that reinforces the sandpaper to make it stronger, keep it from breaking. And that's how I do my sanding. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.